what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be a pregnancy update. Like I said in my last pregnancy video, I was going to do the whole entire first trimester in a like updated video type of thing. I just didn't keep track from week to week. And I didn't really know how I wanted to do it, but I feel like I know like the breakdown of kind of what I want to do. So I have cravings, like what made me sick, like symptoms, and then there's an app that I actually like that tracks like the baby's like size, and they give you like facts and everything like that, and that's Ovia Pregnancy. I'll put it on the screen here somewhere, and it tracks like, it gives you like all these articles and stuff like that, and like tips and tricks and stuff like that for like morning sickness and everything like that. So you should go check that out if you are pregnant. It gives you like interesting facts too. It shows you like the size of the baby's hand compared to what the baby's hand will be when it's born, and I think that that's kind of like the most interesting thing, is just to see how tiny like their little fingers are right now. But so you should definitely check that out if you know, if you're pregnant and you know, you just want like to kind of track and, you know, read some articles on it. So my first trimester, so I found out I was pregnant during week 5 of my pregnancy. So so this trimester update is going to be from week 5 to week 12, and I wrote all my notes down, so if you see me looking down, I just don't want to miss anything. So I'll start with my cravings. So like I didn't have too many cravings like the beginning of my pregnancy. I was just trying to eat anything that like didn't make me sick, I guess. Like my first couple of like weeks of pregnancy, I wouldn't, like, it was still morning sickness, but I wasn't like puking and stuff like that. It was just, I was so, like, I just felt so nauseous in the morning. And I'll do a whole video on like how I beat morning sickness and like just like tips and tricks of like how I kind of like made it through the day, because like I have a full-time job, so I do have to go to work every day, and you know, it's not like you can call out every single time you know, you feel a little bit nauseous. So I'll do a video on that, so just stay tuned for that as well. But in the morning I was just trying to find like something to eat, and I'll talk about like what I ate in the morning and stuff like that. But like morning sickness didn't really hit me too much in the beginning. It was just like nausea, I guess, and it wasn't like throwing up or anything like that. But so more towards like the end of my first trimester, so I would say like kind of like halfway through, is when I probably started to like actually crave some things. And like some of these things are like, I don't eat these on a regular basis, but like I still like them, I just don't eat them. Okay, well the first thing on my list is cereal, and I eat cereal like all the time. So like that was like the only thing I could eat for a while, was just cereal. And it was ridiculous because like the milk didn't make my stomach hurt at all, and I feel like that's probably why. So like the drink I would drink was chocolate milk, and the thing I would eat was cereal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I know that's so crazy, but at this point of your pregnancy, when you're like sick all the time and like certain foods make you want to vomit, like just find something that like you can eat and just eat whatever you can, because like honestly, like as soon as you eat something, like the next minute you could be like nauseous. So I just found that cereal was like the best thing for me. So like that was the first thing I craved, was cereal all the time. So going off of that, I'm a water drinker. I drink water all the time, but I got to the point of I needed something else in my mouth besides water to like drink. So I needed something carbonated as well, just because I feel like my stomach, I just needed to burp or something. So I started off with Sprite, which is my favorite, you know, soda in general. I don't drink much soda, but when I do, I always reach for a Sprite because it's not caffeinated, and I don't really like caffeine really that much. And then I got tired of that. So I got tired of water, and I got tired of Sprite. So my next thing was Diet Coke. And as weird as that is, but I still drink it now just because I can't still drink Sprite, but it helped a lot with like the carbonating and like burping and stuff like that, with like the morning sickness and everything. And then another one besides like water and that didn't have any caffeine in it was Gatorade. So I drank pretty much Gatorade and Diet Coke, and I would still chug a glass of water like before like I would go to work and stuff like that. So I still drink water throughout the day. Like I force it down my throat because I know like that's the best thing for me. But when I couldn't like do the taste of water anymore, I would always go to Diet Coke or Gatorade, as weird as that is. So another thing was I craved pickles for a little bit, and I think that has to do with like one of my symptoms that I'll go through like afterwards, and it's like metal mouth. Like metal mouth is a real thing. I thought that was completely like just like a false accusation. Like I had no idea like metal mouth was actually a thing during pregnancy, and when I started to do that, Michael researched that pickles helped with that. Something like weird with like the juices of pickles like help with that metal mouth. So I craved pickles for a while just because I wanted to get rid of that metal mouth. So I ate pickles like a lot, but if I would eat too many, then my stomach would get upset. So it's like bits and pieces of things. So like my cravings, I would drink a little bit or eat a little bit, and then I would get sick from it. So it helped in the moment, but if I ate too much or drank too much of it, I would get sick. So I had to do little bits of pickles if I wanted to get rid of that metal mouth. Another thing like that was completely weird to me, like I went through a phase of I wanted pancakes like all the time, and the most pancake that I wanted to eat was the McDonald's hotcakes. And I don't like McDonald's at all. They make me sick and everything like that, but I can do their hotcakes. And that was one thing, like I went through like a whole week and a half of, Michael, can you please go get me hotcakes? I just want hotcakes. And good thing they're cheap, because honestly I don't like eating out that much, but I craved that for a good week and a half. So another one that I have been craving more recently than at the beginning of my, you know, trimester and stuff like that. So we have a convenience store or gas station around us called Wawa. So if you're in like the Philadelphia area, and if you go south, like I think they have them in Florida and stuff like that. Like some places have Sheets and like Royal Farms and stuff. So it's exactly like that. But they have the best pretzels, like soft pretzels, and I was craving them for a while. And I guess that kind of goes off of like I'm craving more salty things than sweet things, which is weird because I'm a sweet tooth. Like I love cake, I love cupcakes, I love cookies, I love all this stuff, but like I can't eat any of that stuff. Like I can't, like I'm not craving it anymore like I used to, which is weird because I want to go back to that because I love sweets so much, but I just don't crave them anymore. I'm craving more salty things, like chips. I could eat chips for a while, but I couldn't have too many of them just because of like the grease in them. But Wawa pretzels, like soft pretzels, like anything like carby kind of like that, I could eat and I craved them. So recently, well not, okay, so the beginning of my pregnancy, like the very, very beginning, it mellowed out in the middle, and now I crave it again, is watermelon. I think it's because like watermelon had water in it at the beginning of my pregnancy, and I was trying to eat anything that wouldn't make me feel nauseous and stuff like that. So I think having you know, like watermelon, like something healthy in my stomach kind of like helped. But now since I've been eating junk, well, some of it was junk, but I was just trying to eat anything that wasn't gonna make me vomit. So like right now I'm craving like watermelon, melons, like excuse me, anything fruit, like anything like that, and I just don't really eat fruit. Like I eat vegetables, I'm a vegetable person, but like melons and stuff like that I always ate. So like right now I'm just trying to eat a bunch of like fruits and like melons, and I'm gonna try an orange again. I just can't do the texture, but I'm gonna try it again. So moving on from cravings, I'm gonna go jump right into like what made me sick. So there were a lot more things that made me sick than, you know, like what I craved and stuff like that, but they were like kind of general things. So if you know me, I love mac and cheese. Like I will eat mac and cheese out of a box. I'll eat mac and cheese, you know, that's homemade. Like anytime we go to a restaurant, if they have mac and cheese, I'm guaranteed getting it. And as of right now, I can't eat mac and cheese, and it's so sad. So they're taking, this baby's taking away my sweets and my mac and cheese. So I don't really know what it is. So pasta in general, I can eat if it's a red sauce. But if it's anything else but a red sauce, it makes me sick. So unfortunately I can't have mac and cheese. we literally stock up on like the Velveeta mac and cheese in my house, because like that's my favorite mac and cheese, and I have about 12 boxes in my pantry, and I just haven't been able to eat them because I just feel nauseous as soon as I start eating it. So another thing that makes me upset is that I like fried foods that are kind of like snacky. So like French fries, tater tots, anything like that is like, I love them, and I love dipping it in ranch or ketchup or whatever, and have it drenched in like cheese sauce. But of course I can't have cheese sauce right now. So anything fried, so like French fries or like curly fries, tater tots, I've tried it all. They all make me sick. So anything kind of greasy or anything like that, it makes my stomach hurt a lot faster. So I've been staying away from French fries and tater tots and everything like that. Today I actually crave them, so maybe it'll be back in my diet soon. So this next thing is like my second favorite like food, I guess. So I love mac and cheese, that's my number one. Number two is like grilled cheese. So anything like hot cheese on it, I like. Anything with cold cheese, not my thing. But this actually made me vomit. I ate half of a, I know this might be TMI, so fast forward like 30 seconds if you don't want to hear this. But I literally ate half of a grilled cheese, and then I ate about half of that second part of the grilled cheese, and I literally almost threw up on my couch. Like I had to go to the bathroom and puke, which is kind of upsetting. So I haven't eaten grilled cheese since then. So the next one is kind of like meats in general. So like my favorite meat is like beef. So anything like burgers, steaks, anything like that, that's like my go-to meat. And right now I can't eat a burger, and at the beginning of my pregnancy I didn't want meat at all, just because it made me, I don't like the smell of it, I guess, the cooking of it. It's what made me nauseous and made me kind of want to throw up. So today I did crave a burger, and I did have steak for dinner tonight. So the meat gradually came off. I think it was just because me being nauseous at the beginning of my pregnancy, but now I can eat steak, and I'll wave back into a burger then. So this last one that like made me sick that like I can think of, obviously there's probably more than what I came up with, but I just did like the top ones that stuck in my head. But this last one happened later in my first trimester, so probably in the last like week or two. And anytime like I was so hungry and I thought about food, I felt the vomit come up my throat. And it was absolutely disgusting, and it was just, I would gag. Like I'm gonna do it right now. No, I'm good. It's obviously worn off, whatever that weird symptom was. But anytime I thought about food or smelt it at all, like I was obviously starving and I wanted to eat, but like just thinking about it or like prepping food made me want to like vomit. And it wasn't like I had nausea, it was literally like it's coming up my throat. And that was probably like the worst symptom, or the worst thing that made me like sick, and I hated it. I don't know what that is. I think in like our Ovia pregnancy app, they said that the baby is kind of pushing up on your organs now, and your stomach acid and stuff like that, and it tends to kind of like fluctuate in your throat and whatever your digestive system or whatever this is called. I'm not a nurse or a doctor, not in the medical field at all, but something about it was pushing up, and you're more likely to, like, I guess, feel that way as I was. So it kind of matched up with, you know, what they were saying on the Ovia app. So moving on to symptoms, so these are kind of like what I felt my body was going through in my first trimester. So the first one was morning sickness. So the first part of my like first trimester, I was just getting morning sickness, and it was only in the morning, and then towards the middle of the day I was fine, and then I would get sick again at night. So it was like around like 6 o'clock. It's so weird. As soon as it hit 6 o'clock, I didn't feel good, and it was weird. Like after I ate dinner and everything, my bowl of cereal, and laid on the couch because I just didn't feel good, and it was such a weird weird thing. Like, they always talk about morning sickness, and I had it at night more than I did in the morning. So I don't know what that is. I mean, some people get morning sickness throughout the entire day. So like, I'm glad I didn't have it throughout the entire day. I would have a couple of days that it felt like I had it the whole day, but for the majority, it's at night. And the morning sickness, like the morning part of my day, that eventually went away. I want to say probably around like 9 weeks it probably went away. And I used to not even be able to get out of bed without eating something. So I still have Cheez-Its by my bed, because if I'm laying in bed and we ate dinner early or we went to bed late or anything like that, I will pop a couple crackers in before, you know, I fall asleep, just to, you know, help with my stomach in the morning. Okay, so as of right now, like, I don't have like morning sickness anymore. I just have like that weird vomit thing like I talked about before, so I'm just happy that that portion is done. I as soon as I was going through that, I was like, Michael, this is one and done. Like, there's no more kids after this. But now that it's kind of subsided, and you know, there is a little bit of a bump now, there will be more kids in the future. Okay, so the next symptom that I kind of noticed is that I think my boobs are getting bigger. It's weird to say on camera, and I'm gonna put that on the internet, but I feel like my boobs are getting bigger. They were sore at the beginning, but like, they're not too bad now. They were like really sensitive, but I just feel like they're getting bigger. I don't know if it's just in my head that I think that, or if they're actually doing it, but like, that's one of the symptoms that I thought, you know, was a big change in my first trimester. So another thing, this might be TMI, but I feel like constipated. And obviously, like, that's normal. So like, the first part of my trimester, I had like a normal like pooping schedule, and I was still going like once a day. And then more towards maybe like week 7 or 8 through to now, I feel constipated, and I actually picked up constipation like medication that's like on my list that I can take from my doctor. So I'm gonna start doing that, and hopefully that will subside that symptom. So this next symptom, this was more towards kind of the end of my first trimester. So it started off with, I had a migraine, and I actually had to stay home from work because I literally couldn't look at lights. I had my blinds closed all day. I laid in bed, like I couldn't even get out of bed, or I felt you know, dizzy. I almost passed out in the shower after I was trying to take a shower to like try to go to work. And my head just hurt so bad I couldn't see, like I didn't want to look at light. And it was such a weird thing because in your first trimester, you're not really supposed to take medication. I mean, you can take Tylenol, but I literally had no Tylenol in my house. So I literally had Michael pick up Tylenol on his way home from work. Good thing that was like a plowing day, so he got home early around like 1, and he like took care of me for like the rest of the day. Like, thank God, because I couldn't even take care of the dogs. Like, I couldn't even go downstairs to like let them out or anything. And of course, like, my dogs are, like, one of them's active, like Doug's so active, but Maggie was fine laying in bed with me all day. And so when I was on vacation in the Virgin Islands, I would get a headache probably about every day. I don't know if that was kind of like enhanced from, like, I'm a snacker, so I snack throughout the entire day, and I don't know if it was a combined of like not snacking all day, being in the sun, not drinking enough water, I don't know what it was, but I would get, you know, like a headache every day right before dinner, and it would last until bedtime, and it sucked. And good thing my mom had Tylenol. Shout out to you, Mom, for having Tylenol and taking care of me, and same with my sister, she had some Tylenol, but good thing they had that because I didn't have any of it. So like I said before in the beginning of this video of when I was going through like the cravings and stuff, metal mouth. Metal mouth is a real thing that I thought was so crazy. I didn't think it was real, like whatever. I've had braces before, I can handle metal mouth, or it is 10 times worse than that. Let's just say, like, it feels like you haven't brushed your teeth in like 4 weeks. That's how bad metal mouth is. And I literally have gum in my mouth every second of the day, or I brush my teeth like every like 2 hours. It's disgusting. Like I'll brush my teeth before I go to work. I come home from work and take care of the dogs. I'll brush my teeth when I get home. I'll eat, brush my teeth again, go back to work, come home, brush my teeth. Like it's ridiculous of like how many times I want to brush my teeth and get this metal mouth taste out. And honestly, it was like crazy. Like I've gone through like 5 packs of gum because I have to constantly put gum in my mouth. One thing that he hates that I also hate because I'm a cuddler, I'm very sensitive to like touch in general. So like usually I fall asleep with my head on his chest and like cuddle up to him and fall asleep that way. I couldn't do that at all. And I felt so bad because like we're both cuddly people and I literally couldn't have him touch me or anything. Like even the only thing that he could do was like rub my back, and like that was even limited. So I don't know, it just sucks. Like I'm getting better now. Like I started to be able to cuddle again, but like my stomach in general, like he wanted to like touch it and say like that's our baby in there and stuff like that. And I literally was so disgusted. I was like, can you move your hand please? And I felt so bad, and I've already apologized to him. So don't think like I'm a crazy person and mean and stuff. I've already apologized for all of that. So now my stomach is not too sensitive or anything like that, so he can touch it and feel the baby and stuff like that, and I'm getting better with the cuddling. So the last symptom that I thought was kind of like a big change for me, and Michael calls it I'm a bloodhound because I can smell things like crazy. It's weird. Like Michael opened like a Miller Lite. I just remember this story, like it's stuck in my head. He opened a Miller Lite like on the other couch, and I was like, I can smell your Miller Lite and it's disgusting. Like it was so weird. Like I have a bloodhound scent right now, and that probably started happening around like week 10 or so, and I've had it since then, and it's everything. Like I walk into the house and I can exactly tell you what Michael's making for dinner and stuff like that. So like I said before in the beginning of this video, I've been using the Ovia pregnancy app, and it tracks, you know, every week of, you know, what the size of your baby is in fruit size, and then it also tells you like in actual like centimeters or inches, and it tells you how, you know, what your baby weighs in ounces and stuff like that. So I just wrote down like what the sizes were, and I'll go by week, and then I wrote down one interesting fact that I thought was cool from the app. You know, each week that, you know, the baby's growing, like certain parts of its body's growing or whatever. So starting off with week 5, since that's when I found out I was pregnant, the baby was the size of a peppercorn. Like that is so tiny, like so tiny. I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't, obviously like I knew they started that tiny, but it's weird when once they're inside your stomach. And then the interesting fact of that week was that the organs are starting to form already at peppercorn size. Week 6 was the size of a blueberry, and they had little buds for arms that will eventually turn into arms, so it kind of looked like a tadpole at this week. Alright, so week 7 was the size of a raspberry, and the interesting fact from that week that like I kind of took about and it was kind of cool is that they're growing 100 cells like a minute. Like how cool is that? Like every minute I have another 100 sounds, 100 cells that they were developing. Week 8 was the size of a strawberry, and then the interesting fact that I thought that I didn't even know about like pregnancy and like what the baby goes through was the eyelids are fused shut to protect their eyes for the next several months. So I didn't even know that, and I should have read into like why their eyelids are fused shut. So if you know that, put that in the comments because I'm so interested. Week 9, they were size of a pecan. And then the interesting fact that I thought was cool was that the kidney, liver, brain, and lungs are starting to function on their own. So in week 5, they were starting to form, and then in week 9, that they're starting to function on their own. Week 10, and of course this is Michael's like favorite fruit to say that the baby is. I'm glad that he or she is not this size anymore, but the size was a kumquat. And the interesting fact that I thought for that week was that the teeth are starting to grow, and the baby is starting to move around. Obviously I can't feel that yet or anything like that, but they're starting to move around in the sac. Week 10, the baby is the size of a Brussels sprout, And the fun fact, or the cool fact, or the interesting fact that I thought, you know, Ovia said was that it's past the embryo stage. So it's now actually considered a fetus, which obviously I didn't know. Like, there's a difference between an embryo and a fetus. I just thought it was a fetus from the beginning. But they just passed the embryo stage and now it's considered a fetus. But week 12, they're the size of an apricot. And what I thought was cool for this week is that the baby is breathing on its own now. So I think that's so cool that he's finally, or she's finally, you know, starting to breathe on their own. They're using their lungs, they're using their, you know, organs and stuff like that. I think that's just so cool. So I'm sure all of you are wondering, like, what does your baby bump look like after the first trimester? And I guess I'll reposition the camera and I'll show you what my stomach looks like. So I guess that's a little bit embarrassing, but I don't really care. I'm documenting this. Okay, so I repositioned my camera, and so this is like a side view with a shirt on, and I don't think you can really tell. Like, my stomach was pretty flat before, but if I raise this up, so I guess that is almost 13 weeks pregnant. That's not very big, but it's very hard. It's very hard, and so that's how I can tell that I'm actually pregnant, is that the little bump. So it's still a little one, but it's not too big yet. Okay, so that's everything from my first trimester update. I hope it wasn't too long. So obviously updates won't be this long anymore because I'm going to be doing 1 week at a time instead of doing a full trimester together. But some videos that I will be, you know, putting together soon is, you know, morning sickness. So like how I defeated morning sickness, or tips and stuff like that. So that will probably be my next pregnancy video besides my week 13. I just don't know which one I'll post first. But if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.